You think you're lost. You think you've wandered too far, taken too many wrong turns, that somehow you missed your destiny. But what if I told you you're exactly where you're supposed to be? That what feels like being lost is actually your preparation for the life you were born to live. It's one of the most painful beliefs we carry, the feeling that we are lost. We look around at our lives, at the broken dreams, the mistakes, the endless waiting, and we think, I must have messed up. I must have missed my chance. But what if that story, the story that says you are lost, is the biggest lie of all? You are not lost. You are being shaped. There are seasons of your life where everything feels like it's falling apart. Nothing makes sense. No matter how hard you try, the doors stay closed. The people who once lifted you leave. The vision you once held so clearly becomes foggy and distant. It feels like failure. It feels like punishment. But underneath the surface, something sacred is happening. You are being prepared for the life that your current self could not yet handle. Think about this. If you had been handed your dream too early, when you still doubted yourself, when you still needed validation from others, when you still ran from discomfort, you would have destroyed it. You would have sabotaged the very thing you were begging for. So life, in its strange mercy, doesn't deliver it yet. It slows you down. It strips you bare. It walks you through storms, deserts, and nights so dark, you wonder if the sun will ever rise again. This is not cruelty. This is craftsmanship. Imagine a sculptor. Before the masterpiece emerges, the sculptor must first strike the marble over and over again. It looks violent. It looks destructive. But every strike is precise. Every fragment that falls away reveals something closer to the masterpiece hidden inside. That's your life right now. You are not being punished. You are being chiseled. The loneliness you feel, it's teaching you how to stand on your own. The heartbreak you suffered, it's deepening your capacity to love and be loved with wisdom. The failures you endured, they are teaching you resilience that cannot be faked or bought. Nothing is wasted. Not the pain, not the confusion, not even the moments where you felt completely abandoned. You are not lost. You are being called deeper into yourself, into the real you. When you feel lost, it's because you are being invited to stop clinging to the maps and markers that once made you feel safe. You are being asked to trust something higher, something wilder, something more ancient than fear, your own soul's journey. The truth is, nobody who ever found themselves stayed comfortable. They all passed through these storms. They all faced the silence. They all doubted whether they would ever find their way. But on the other side of being lost, they discovered something far more precious than a perfect life. They discovered themselves. And so will you. Stay the course. Trust the confusion. It is not your enemy. It is your initiation. You are not lost. You are being prepared. And when the time comes, you will not just arrive. You will arrive ready. The mind demands certainty. It wants to know the exact plan. It wants to see every step, every outcome, every guarantee before it dares to move forward. But the soul works differently. The soul does not deal in guarantees. It deals in growth. And growth almost always requires trust without proof. Right now, you might feel like you're wandering in the dark, like you're taking steps but seeing no results, like you're making sacrifices that nobody sees and nobody rewards. And a small, tired voice inside you whispers, "It's not working. It's pointless. Give up." But what you can't see, what you must believe, is that you are being led. Every quiet moment of patience, every unseen act of integrity, every painful choice to stay true to yourself even when it would be easier to give up. It is all being counted. You are weaving a future you cannot yet perceive. The universe, your future self, the unseen intelligence guiding you. It responds not to your doubts, but to your faith. Imagine a tree. When you plant the seed, the first thing that grows is not upwards toward the sky. It's downwards, into the soil. Roots must be formed before anything can break the surface. And while the roots are growing, it looks like nothing is happening. The ground looks barren, but underground, life is fighting for its foundation. That's your life right now. You are growing roots, deep, strong, invisible roots that will hold the weight of the destiny you are being prepared for. If everything you wanted arrived today, but your foundation wasn't ready, it would collapse under its own weight. You would lose it. It would break you. And so life, in its wisdom, delays, not to hurt you, but to protect you, to make sure that when the storm comes, and it always does, you will not be shaken. You will stand. In every period of delay, there is a hidden invitation. Will you keep trusting when there is no proof? Will you keep building when there is no applause? Will you keep believing in a future you cannot yet see? The ones who answer yes to that invitation are the ones who rise beyond anything they could have imagined. They don't just manifest things. They become someone who naturally attracts the life they once dreamed about, not because they manipulated the universe, but because they became the kind of soul the universe wants to bless. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being trained for something greater than comfort. You are being trained for destiny. The discomfort you feel is not a sign you are failing. It's a sign that the old self is breaking apart to make room for the true self to emerge. Your future self is already waiting for you, already cheering for you, already knowing that if you do not quit, if you do not settle, you will walk into a life that finally feels like it fits your soul. It will not happen overnight. It will not happen without storms, but it will happen. And when you arrive, you will realize something beautiful. You were never lost. You were never abandoned. You were being led all along, just by a path you couldn't yet understand. Most people go through life unaware of how tightly they are bound, not by physical chains, but by invisible ones. Expectations, fear, doubt, guilt. These subtle forces wrap around the spirit, tightening just enough to restrict real freedom, but not so much that they notice immediately. You grow up internalizing the voice of others, saying things like, "Be realistic. That's not how life works. Who do you think you are?" These phrases become the background noise of your mind, so familiar that you mistake them for your own thoughts. But here's the hidden truth. You were born limitless. It's only the conditioning of the world that taught you to believe otherwise. The real tragedy is not that these chains exist. It's that most people never realize they're carrying them. They decorate their chains. They polish them. They call them responsibility or common sense. But chains, no matter how you disguise them, still bind. The first step to real liberation is awareness. You must notice the weight you've normalized. You must confront the beliefs you've accepted without question. Freedom doesn't begin when the chains fall away. Freedom begins the moment you recognize they were there all along. And from that moment onward, you will never again mistake captivity for comfort. Once you recognize the invisible chains, you'll face a shocking realization. No one is holding you back now but you. It's easy to blame the world, your circumstances, your past. It's far harder and far more powerful to admit that the prison door was open all along and you simply didn't walk through it. The mind clings to the familiar even if the familiar is painful. We sabotage opportunities. We doubt our own intuition. We tell ourselves stories that keep us small because growth feels terrifying. Even when freedom is what we claim to want most. This is the real battle, the war within. Every time you shrink yourself to fit into someone else's expectations, you lose a little piece of who you were meant to be. Every time you silence your own voice out of fear, the chains grow tighter, not from the outside, but from within. True strength is not just about facing external challenges. It's about confronting the subtle ways you betray yourself, moment after moment, year after year. The question is not, what's standing in my way? The real question is, why am I still standing in my own way? When you begin to fight the right battle, the internal one, everything outside you starts to shift. Opportunities appear, confidence grows, freedom becomes not just a dream, but your reality. But only if you are brave enough to confront the parts of yourself that are still choosing comfort over courage. Freedom doesn't arrive all at once. It demands a series of decisions made in the silence of your... You stop living on autopilot. You stop making decisions based on fear. You become a living force that moves through the world with purpose, not permission. But there's something you must know. Freedom has a price. It will cost you your comfort. It will cost you your illusions. It will cost you the approval of people who preferred you small. The truth is, you cannot be free and still cling to who you were. You must choose every single day, every single moment. Freedom isn't a feeling, it's a way of life. It's the discipline of choosing what serves your soul over what strokes your ego. It's the art of risking everything you thought you needed for everything you're truly meant to become. And if you can master that, you will walk through life unchained, untouchable, unstoppable. You were never meant to live this life hidden, silenced, or shackled. Every fiber of your being, your mind, your heart, your soul, was created to move through this world fearlessly. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. You traded your freedom for comfort. You traded your authenticity for acceptance. You let yourself become a prisoner in a cage that was never even locked. Now, here you are, standing at the crossroads. One path leads back to the familiar. The same fears, the same doubts, the same silent screams trapped inside your chest. The other leads into the unknown, a path where you have no map, no guarantees, only the quiet, burning certainty that you were meant for more. This is not a small decision. This is the decision that defines lifetimes. Will you choose fear, or will you choose freedom? The world is not waiting to give you permission. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to tell you that you're finally ready, because you already are. The fire inside you, the whisper in your mind that says, this isn't all there is. That's the signal. That's your future self, reaching back through time, begging you to remember who you really are. So stand up, break the chains, choose yourself, and never look back. Your soul has waited long enough. It's time.